Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Hucke, and I'm a senior finance major at the University of Delaware. Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can change your life starting the power of investing. So when we talk about investing, we mainly talk about three groups of assets. We're going to be talking about stocks, ETFs, and bonds. So a stock is a singular company, for example, like a Google or Nvidia that's traded on our stock exchange. An ETF would be something that's a blended fund, meaning that there are in some of these ETFs over 300 to 400 companies, and you're buying them similar to a stock, but it's a more diverse group of assets. A bond is the last one. It offers a fixed rate of return. The last thing that is really key to remember is when we're talking about benchmarks in the stock market, we are talking about the S&P 500. Now we want to look at brokerage companies. So what these are our Schwab's, our Robinhoods, our Fidelities. These companies are extremely important nowadays. One of the main reasons is because all of these accounts offer apps and you can trade from anywhere in the world now. It used to be a process to execute a trade. It often was working with a banker or stockbroker. And so having these apps makes it so easy to access global markets. It has made it much easier for the average person to start their investing journey somewhere. An important aspect to remember is a lot of these companies will offer programs that they invest your assets for you, and in exchange, they charge you a fee. While oftentimes people are successful doing this as they don't know much about the market itself and they'd rather trust a brokerage like Schwab or Fidelity to do so, which is great. But if you do have any sort of knowledge in the market or interesting to learn the market, there are places for you to start. So the place for you to start is most likely ETFs. Starting your portfolio with ETFs allow you to seek a more diversified portfolio, meaning that all your eggs are not in one basket. Your eggs are probably in different baskets. So I'm 23 years old, and this is extremely important to me because within a few years, I'm going to have saved up a little bit of money from my first job, and I'm going to have somewhere to put that money. The next thing I want to talk about is retirement. And yes, it is pretty crazy to talk about retirement before you actually start your first full-time position. But the fact of the matter is, the sooner that you start making a plan for your retirement, the better it's going to turn out to be. A lot of people are just underplanned and they kind of wait until the last minute to really figure out their retirement, and it really causes them to usually have to work much longer than they want to. When we talk about investing properly, it is important to think of our timeline or horizon in investing. So all different people have different timelines, meaning they want to put that ma amount of money to work for a certain amount of time, and then they want to sell that asset and possibly use that money. So for me, when we're talking about retirement, I'm not talking about um, a 1 or 2 or 3 year investment. I'm talking about a 35 year, a 40-year investment, which I could possibly hold on to until I'm 60 or 65 years old. So when you're talking about investments that have that long of a horizon, the power of compounding interest really comes into play. So that's what I'm going to show you here next is so right now, at 23 years old, every dollar that I invest will approximately be 17 or $18 when I retire when I'm 60 years old, which is pretty amazing, meaning that the younger you are, you want to put as much money as you can away for your retirement. The next cool thing is, let's just say instead of investing at 23 now, let's just say I wait 10 years until I'm 33 to start investing. At that rate, that same $1 only becomes $8 when I'm going to retire. So you can just see the difference right there. And then obviously, if we start investing at 43, that $1 would only be $3. So you start to see that compounding interest really take place when you're investing, in a 20 or 30 year horizon. A great place to start for someone who's of my age, 23 years old, would be to open a Roth IRA account. Basically, a Roth IRA allows you to deposit up to $7,000 a year. And the benefit of a Roth IRA is that it grows tax-free and can be withdrawn tax-free. There's a couple little side notes to this. The max amount of money that you can put in per year is, like I said, $7,000, meaning you can't add as much to a Roth IRA as you could to your regular brokerage account. And one last thing is if you decide that you need to or want to withdraw that money earlier than I think it's 59 and a half years old, there's penalties for doing so, usually starting at like a 10% penalty for any early withdrawal. So that is obviously something you want to take into consideration. Awesome. Now we are actually on the Schwab website, and I'm going to help you navigate this website. And eventually, I'm going to show you how to execute your own trade on here, which is pretty cool. So we're going to look at here, we're in the research category. So basically, I said there was over like 300, 400 ETFs on the market, and there's even more stocks allowed. There's thousands of stocks that are available for purchase on the market. So this screener basically helps you narrow down that list of stocks and ETFs that you're looking at. There's a whole different range of criteria and filters that help you narrow it down. Some of the things that are important that they look at is the price performance is one of the most important things, how the stock price has been doing over a certain amount of time that you're looking at, the valuation, how companies are rating this stock and these ETFs, the type of dividends that they've been given recently over the last year or two, and then if we go into basic, we can see things like market cap, what index they're traded on, certain price restrictions, certain short interest splits, pretty much anything information-wise that you would need before making an investment decision. You could. The next thing we're going to look at here is in this positions tab. So this is actually my IRA account. So I'm going to walk you through kind of what some of this stuff means. So here we're looking at SPYG, which is a spider growth ETF. So it tracks the S&P 500. So a bunch of different companies that make up this SPYG fund, like I said before. The quantity is how many shares you own. So that's 34.5 shares of that at this price, which is going to get you that account value, which is pretty cool. So this one fund does take up pretty much my whole IRA portfolio here. Now I'm actually going to show you how to submit a trade, which is pretty cool. This is something that I was always so curious because everyone says, "Oh, how do you invest?" Or they always talk about investing, but this is actually how you just submit a trade, and it's pretty simple and easy to do. So here we're gonna look at, let's say, Amazon is a pretty common known stock that everyone knows about. So when we look over here, previous close is just talking about what the price closed at yesterday. These ranges are the lowest and the highest that stock's been in the day and over the last year, as you can see here. When we come over here to the bid and ask size, this is basically what someone is willing to sell one share of this fund at and what someone is willing to buy it at. So that's just the difference in the bid and the ask price of this fund. When we come over here, volume is 64.3 million shares. That's the amount of outstanding shares that are available of Amazon. Which over here, this is our percentage. You can see Amazon was down almost 2.6% today. And this is the change since close. So this is after hours. And then you could see what it was at close. Now we're going to come scroll down here, and this is our action. So there's three things we can do here. We can buy the stock, we can sell the stock, which you're not going to sell the stock if you don't own it, obviously, or you could short the stock. Here we're going to talk about buying the stock. So let's just say we're going to make a $2,000 investment in Amazon. That would be 10 shares would be $2,048.50. We're going to come down here to our order type. If you're placing this trade in the middle of the day, it is okay to just use market, which means it's going to pick up those number of shares immediately at any available price. These other order types like limit, stop limit, trailing stop are more complex type of trades and something that you would have to do further research into. But this is what you would do. You would review order and then you would place this order and it would obviously notify you that the trade had been put through immediately. If you have any other questions or any other concerns, I think this website is just amazing. They do have their own how-to videos as far as taxes, placing trades, pretty much anything that you would need to know and a little bit of walkthrough, which is pretty cool. So now that I've showed you guys how to complete your own trade on Schwab, last thing I wanted to show you is this Yahoo Finance website. So basically, this website will allow you to import your own portfolio into this website. It allows you to track your own portfolio, similar to the same way that you can in the Schwab app itself, but this website does offer a little more when it comes to news articles, stock articles, earnings reports, releases, anything information-wise that you would need to know about your investment could be found here on Yahoo Finance. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my walkthrough video on how to start your investing journey. And if you have any other questions, you should do your own research here on Yahoo Finance or the Schwab website. I think that will help you get started. Have a nice day.